Hello everyone, welcome to the session on problem solving till control flow. So in this session we'll try to apply all the concepts that we have learned in control flow with the help of certain problems. We'll try to solve a couple of problems here. So the first problem is write a program in Python which repeatedly reads numbers until the user enters end. Once end is entered, print out the total, count and average of the numbers. If the user enters anything other than a number, then detect that it's a mistake using try and except block, and then print an error message and skip to the next number. So it's a very clearly indicated problem that it says that you keep on accepting numbers as long as user does not enter end. Moment he enters end, you come out of it. Otherwise, if he is not entering a valid number, then you can make use of try and except block. Now you need to understand this try and except block because this is something which is new to you and it differs from the other problems. Now, what does this mean is these are the two keywords which you have come across in the set of keywords. Try is to keep on trying, that is keep on processing or computing a block. But if any time an error occurs, then that error has to be caught or is catched by the except block. For example, let us say you have a computation wherein there is a mathematical computation and you are trying to divide some variable by the numerator by the denominator, and that variable denominator happens to be, let us say that runtime user has entered a number 0 or the value has resulted into 0 during computation. Then in that case, and if you have not taken care of the condition, then in that case you know that compiler will automatically flag an error saying that divide by 0. So this particular situation can be easily avoided, or it can be caught using this try and catch block or the try and except block we call it. These are exceptional handling mechanisms. These are used in the object oriented language. Generally these are called as exception handling blocks or the mechanisms. Now we'll try to incorporate this, and then it will become more crystal clear. Now before starting with the problem, let us try to understand what is the algorithm that is involved as far as this logic is concerned. Now, the algorithm says that first initialize three variables. One is count, sum and average, and then you create a loop which says that loop till step 6, till this step, and until user enters end. So keep on looping until user enters end. Accept the input into the var, let us say a variable var, and you check if that var is not equal to end. That means it is fine, you can go inside. And if var is a number, then again further go into the inside block, meaning here if it is not end, that means user has not typed end, then you check whether he has typed correctly or a valid number. If the number is valid, then you start counting the numbers and summing it. That is sum is equal to sum plus that number, and keep on counting the numbers. Otherwise you are supposed to say that the number is not valid because this is the else part of this block, so it is written as invalid number, and then again go back to step 5. You can see here the step 5 is accept the input into var. So this is how it keeps on repeating. Otherwise, if this is not equal to end, that means it is equal to end, then you can say go to step 6, 7, that is you come out of it and then display the count, sum and the average, and finally end the program or the algorithm here. So this is how the logic is going to be processed. But one thing you need to understand that this is giving an idea of there is no proper condition, so it's an indefinite condition, hence you need to have an infinite loop, and inside the infinite loop you need to check for this condition, which you must have understood from the previous lectures. So let us go to the editor and see how we can incorporate this into the code. So let us initialize those three variables, count, sum and average. I have taken deliberately double M because SUM is a reserved word. Now we need to type a message saying enter the numbers followed by end. So now after this message is typed, we'll create a loop because that's the first step that is there after the initialization part. Now you know that how to create an infinite loop, TRUE, true. This is an infinite loop, and now you keep accepting the value from the user. So you say enter a number. Then after this you need to check whether your var, if it happens to be equal to end, then immediately come out of it, that is break the loop. Otherwise you can convert this into an integer, that is var should be converted into integer. Let us take num equal to int of var, and now after this you can check, that is if your number is, now in this case here as per the algorithm we need to check whether it is a valid number or not. But you know that, as I told you, that we are going to make use of try and catch block, so this check is not required. I'll tell you why. You just have to directly use this number, that is you can start counting, assuming that this number is fine, and you say count is equal to count plus 1, and then sum is equals to sum plus the number, in our case it is num, and then that's it. So this will keep on looping through. How does it happen is, it is true, enter a number. If it is not equal to end, it will accept the number, convert the number into integer, and then it will try to count this and loop back. But if the number is not valid, that is if it is not able to convert the number into an integer, then this would be an error here itself. So that can be incorporated by using what is called as a try block. That is, we'll try to incorporate it here, try colon. Now this you need to shift because there is a tab setting there, and this gets aligned. Everything goes fine, try here. Otherwise if there is an error here, we can say except colon, and then you try to type print invalid number. That is, so this is under the try itself, so you print this message here, and you should ensure that this try and except are inside the while. The moment it is invalid number printed, again it will go loop back and it will continue with the next inputs. That is what is expected. And if end is typed, then it will break the loop. So when the loop is comes out the loop, then you just have to print the entire message which says print the count, total and the average. Now you know that in the outside, when it comes out of the loop, you need to print the total, count and the average, but where we have calculated the average yet, we need to calculate the average here. We'll say average equals sum divided by count, count, and then you start typing here print the total. So the statements added are print total numbers you entered is equal to the count, their sum is sum, their average is average. So this is all outside this loop, that's why it is starting from the first column. Now let us execute this program. So when we run this, it is asking for a number, let us say 23. Oops, so it is saying invalid number. Now you must have understood that here, if you can see, sum equals sum plus num, because of this statement it is flagging an error there. So you just stop this and just make this as sum is equal to sum plus num. Now run it again. Now it is asking you to enter the number, let us say 24, fine, 26, 99 and 28, 87, 456, and let us enter something wrong there, so invalid number, or D3 or 5F is invalid number, and go on typing. So everything is fine, you can see here. Now when I enter end, let us end this END, and you can see here that it displays the total numbers entered are 8, the sum is 1570, the average is 196.2. So this is how you can solve this problem as far as accepting the numbers from the user are concerned till he types end. Let us go to the next program and incorporate this in a similar manner. Now the second program says that write a program in Python that prompts for a list of numbers as in question 1 and at the end prints out both the maximum and minimum of the numbers. A similar program, as I said that, but we will try to calculate what is the maximum and what is the minimum of the numbers accepted from the user. So again, user is going to accept till he types end, and we can continue to have this try and catch block. So we'll try to modify the same program and see how we can incorporate this. Again, we'll try to see the algorithm first and then the program. To find maximum and minimum of the numbers, set max is equal to none and min is equal to none. So this none is a keyword that you know, which is available in Python. It means nothing or none. So minimum is also set to none. The value which is not existing or not equal to anything there. Repeat till step 6 again and until user enters end. Accept the input into var. Now we are going to accept the value into var. It is not equal to none. This remains same. If var is a number, then begin. If the number is less than maximum, if your number is less than maximum, then your max happens to be, or rather, the correction here, if var is greater than maximum, then you know that var is more than maximum. So max is equal to var. So here the correction is max is equal to var because you want to assign it to the variable which you have taken, and var is the value you accepted. So my var is greater than max, then you know that it is greater than that, so assign equal to max. And similarly, if var happens to be less than minimum, though you know that it is less than the minimum, so minimum is your var, you say min equal to var, and this goes on. If any time you find that number is not valid, so it is displayed invalid number, rest of the thing remains same, and when it comes out you just have to display max and min. So let us go to the editor and see how we can incorporate this into the code. We will modify the existing program here, and I will just try to delete the first part, and I would call this as maximum, because max is a keyword again there. Maximum equals none, and then n is capital there. But there is a correction here again. You need to know that earlier, if the reserve word happens to be showing small, then that's not the correct one. This is another keyword which is having a capital N. So please incorporate the change if at all you have done it the other way around. So minimum is equal to again none. So minimum and maximum is set to none. Type the numbers, this is all fine. Enter the number. If var happens to be 9, fine. Now here you need to change it the logic here. So our logic says that if my number, that is of course I need to convert it. Let us convert this into, it was there already I believe, so we'll try to use this itself. If num happens to be greater than maximum, or you need to incorporate one more condition here, because your maximum was initially at the very first time it is equal to none. So if it is equal to none, one of this condition, that is either it is greater than this or it is equal to none. In that case you have to just say maximum equals num. Similarly, you can copy this block of statements and paste it here and say that on the same lines, if my num happens to be less than minimum, then do the same thing, minimum, or this minimum is equal to none. So num is less than minimum, or minimum is equal to none, minimum is equal to num. So this is fine, and the rest is the code which we don't need here, only one statement we need to print the maximum and minimum. So we'll call this as maximum comma maximum is maximum and minimum is minimum. This is outside the loop. This is how you can make use of this. So none is a keyword, you can assign it to a sign that it is pointing to, having a none value, and maximum is equal to none. The first time you need to check. Similarly minimum, and num is greater than maximum, you assign it to the maximum. If num is less than minimum, then assign it to the minimum. And anytime there is error, it is an invalid number. So let us run this program. Now when you run this, it is asking us to type a number. Now pay attention. Now when I type a number here, let us say 4, it is saying invalid number. Now this is another thing you need to understand why it is, although our program is correct, but why it is saying invalid number is because the check which you have incorporated, num greater than maximum, you are checking for the number with maximum, where maximum is also an integer, but you know that the very first value of maximum is none. It is like a short circuit operation. It checks for the first the condition and does not check for the next condition. This is how Python works. This is called as the guardian condition, meaning here if one of the value is true, then it does not check for the next value, hence it comes out and says that it is an invalid number. So you can just swap these values here. That's all you need to do. So this is how it works. Now maximum is equal to none. Very first time it will just assign the value where it will check that it is true, and then finally the next value is checked whether it is greater, and then so on. So this way I believe you understood what was the correction here. Now we'll try to run it again. Now we will try to enter the numbers here, 23, 67, 1, 2, 3, 7 and so on. Some numbers you enter, negative numbers you enter, and then so on, 0, and some invalid numbers, 2F or 6H or K0, invalid numbers, and finally you end this. So you can see here the maximum is 9338 and minimum is minus 56543. So this is how you can incorporate this to find the maximum and minimum of the numbers. So these are all the numbers which have been entered here. You can see the lowest is this 56543 minus and 9338. I hope you understood this these two problems. In the next session we'll try to work on a problem which generates a Floyd's triangle. So with this we'll end this session. Thank you. Have a good day and a safe day.